Hello and welcome to Clockwork Noodles. We're here for the Midways already. I can't believe it's been 6 weeks and we're already into the halfway period of this season. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. Welcome if you are new. One of the two big videos that I really hate recording because of how long they take. I end up having to take a whole day out just to go in between editing these, recording these, putting it all together. This one took a little bit of time for me to put into order, mainly the OPs. The OPs were the hardest part for me because I had 3 that could have gone in slot number 1. To me, all the top 3 are slot number 1. They're all like ranked equally for me. But when I get to OPs, I will explain why and how I eventually put them in an order. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys are really enjoying your summer. Summer over here is kind of wet. I know the rest of Europe is boiling right now, and I know a lot of you guys are having a very, very hot sun. We've got floods. I'm recording when it's nice and hot for some reason, which sucks because I want to go out there, but I need to get this done. I will say this has been one of those weird seasons where I had a lot of shows that I was going to watch, but I wasn't really enthusiastic by anything. I had a slot. We ended up doing Clockwork Rewind, which is doing very well, so thank you guys so much for tuning in and enjoying those videos. There are a lot of shows that ended up being meh. Then there's a lot of shows that I really, really enjoyed and I didn't think I'd enjoy them. When it gets to my anime list, I've actually given 2 honourable mentions just because there's 2 shows that I feel really deserve a shout out, and hopefully you guys are gonna find my list very interesting. Obviously you do not have to agree. These are just my personal opinions. They don't count for absolutely anything in the grand scheme of things. It's just fun to have a little video like this so you guys can see what I'm thinking halfway through a season. Let's get straight to it, to the hardest part, which I had to break down, which was the OPs. They were really difficult. This season, we were given some fantastic OPs, some really great songs. A lot of great effort went into the OPs. Honourable mention. I'm irritated by my choice, but I have to stick with my choice. I honestly think the other show, when I say it, you'll know what I mean, should have been in this position. It was clear that there was a studio favourite at the time. In honourable position, I'm going to give it to The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses. It's a song called Name. Just got a bit more love and a bit more sparkle than its counterpart, The Masterful Cat, which I actually prefer in general. It has got a nice OP. I would say it does still play out like a tech demo, but there are some really nice frames in this. There's some really nice flow going on. It carries the vibe of the show. It feels like you're walking through it, if that makes sense. There are some very nice, gorgeous frames. Putting it in honourable, it definitely deserves it. It was the hardest OP choice I have ever had to make on a Midway. All 3 of these OPs are in a different league. They could all basically be in any slot. I am aware that some of these shows are getting second OPs. I do keep thinking that I need to do a second OP ranking list, but at the same time, most shows do tend to keep the 1 OP. I think we can stick with it. These are my OPs up until this point. So in 3rd place, this was difficult for me. Undead Girl, Murder Fast, Crackle Crackle into this position. I actually love this song. It's been in my head all night. The J-pop band, and I think it actually really works. It's also the song that I keep thinking I hear, Tripping Balls. I know that's not what they're saying. I have fully broken this one down on my channel. If you want a full breakdown, there is one on the video, I think episode number 1, where we heard the OP for the first time. There is amazing flow, and there's a lot of really hidden subtext going on with a show like this, because this is a show all about being a detective, deducing things, picking up on those small details. Symbolism is beautiful. There's some very nice stylish moments as well, which I think really give it a bit of a showy theme. The sound also feels quite showy. It's presented in a show manner, perfect for a show all about farces, putting on a good show, which is what the OP does. There's a lot of shifting colours, very nice moments like with Sherlock's head, where you've got London sticking out of it. Stylish in general. A lot of people do that in photography. There's great colours, there's great shifting. Obviously you get a lot of character moments. There are some moments where they pick from the show. There are some moments where they just play some of the scenes from the actual show. The reason why number 1 is number 1 is because they didn't do that. They created a whole OP from scratch. In the end, that's the only thing which is really dividing these guys. They are all fantastic OPs. I want all 3 OPs. I like all of them. My favourite part in particular is just when you've got Suguru walking through Japan, then going into the streets of Europe, and you can see the edge of the Japan board looking like he's come off a movie set. I like that because that's exactly what this show's all about. In second position, very difficult again because any other season this could have been number 1. Zom 100, Song of the Dead. You guys know me, I just fangirled over this when it first appeared. There is a full breakdown once again on the video if you want to go see the whole thing. It's so good. I absolutely love it. I don't normally like this kind of music. It's got a bit of a Rage Against the Machine feel at the start, but then it goes into a complete pop song. So there is a contrast. There's a shift halfway through. Monotonous guitar riff over and over. Rage Against the Machine style vocals. I don't know what style this is, so I'm just going to call it Rage Against the Machine style. These zombies all in a line walking to the beat, which I thought was very clever. Doing stuff like that where the music is incorporated into your OP gets you more points than Becca's book because you are using the song, you're placing all of your bits and pieces on the top so it all merges. I wouldn't be surprised if this song was created for the show because both OP and ED on this anime in particular have the word dead in the title, which I think is very, very clever. It flows, the colours are very fantastic. Obviously with this show in particular, it's all about those very crazy paint splatters of colour. There are points when we get tons and tons of paint where you can't even see the background anymore, which I think is really cool. With the flip halfway through, the show is polarising where 1 minute it's quite sad and it's quite depressing and the next minute it's hyper, it's amazing, and obviously it's quite contrasty where you're dealing with a very heavy topic like the end of the world, but you're also making it quite jovial and you're bringing out the happy side in it as well. It's got the punky section and then you've got the song change at the end. Any other season this would have been number 1 for me. The only reason this one is in second place and not top, place number 1 has created their own OP from scratch. This OP in particular, the Song of the Dead, you've got a lot of ripping from episode number 1 where he runs through the corridor. There's nothing wrong with that in any other season. I just needed to come up with some nitpicks to actually put these 3 in position. In the first position, I absolutely love this song in particular. It's Jujutsu Kaisen season 2, Ao no Sumiko. Really good OP. The song is really good. The animation is just top notch. Jujutsu Kaisen's going to have that top notch animation anyway. It was only because Jujutsu Kaisen's OP is completely created from scratch that it's actually held this position. At one point I wanted to put Zone 100 there. Carries the theme of the show, feels like it fits, like the bit with the train. My favourite thing about this OP is the symbolism, the subtext that's going on. All 3 of these OPs have subtext, but this one in particular has got a lot of foreshadowing going on. I like the foreshadowing. Our character in the bathtub, she then sinks below and it gets dark. Foreshadowing. You've got the bit where they're all getting onto a train very, very happily, and the only character coming off is the same character. Foreshadowing, because she's not going in the same direction as everybody else. She's unable to follow them on their journey. That again is a lot of foreshadowing for the certain events that happen in the first arc. The colours are very beautiful. There's a lot of blue used, and blue is often a sad, sorrowful colour. It's often calm, but it's also hinting at sadness. And we've got the symbolism with the yin and the yang, Geto and Gojo, with how different these 2 are. And them walking away in different directions, showing that they're going to be going on different paths, so they can't follow each other. I didn't like Geto in the first season, but the little arc we've had with season 2, I actually find myself warming to the character, and I'm very sad that things have happened in the way that they have. The animation's smooth, the beautiful characters, beautiful framework, beautiful just everything. I absolutely love the watercolour feel as well with the vibes. They always do come up with very good OPs. I will say Jujutsu Kaisen is known for good OPs, but this one in particular, you can sit there all day and break it down. I almost wish that I could also break down OPs with you guys because I have so much fun. It would be getting a lot of copy strikes when it comes to using the actual OPs, which would really, really suck. If I wanted to use the entire OP just on the screen, I'd also get a copy strike because I've tried to do that before and then my video got flagged. So those are my OPs, guys. They were really, really difficult to order. That was the hardest choice I've had to make all season. I can't wait to go into the end of season where I've actually got to make a final choice as well. That's going to be really hard. Now let's go into the EDs and start with the honourable mention. I'm actually going to give it to a show that we haven't mentioned yet. That is Reign of the Seven Spellblades with the song called Aim. This is a really beautiful song. I don't like the anime very much. The song is really nice. It's got a bit of a roll credits feel though, so that's why it is sitting in honourable. The song works. Animation is quite nice. It flows from character to character. It carries the vibe of the show. I also really like the use of the music with what's going on the screen. So when I've actually made an effort to line up the song with the actual animation, it's marks in my book because you're doing something different. An effort has been made to make sure that it lines up. It carries the themes. In third position, again, I feel so guilty it's in third again. Undead Girl Murder Fast with the song Reversal. This carries the vibe beautifully. I love the fact that it is saturated, so the colours are black and white with a little bit of sepia occasionally. You follow Suguru and the main three as they walk along. It starts in London, then it flips to Japan again, so it's actually the reverse. The song says reversal. It's the reverse of what has just happened in the OP. I have broken this down properly on the video if you want to go check that out. It's a complete reverse. Makes me think at the end they're going to go back to Japan. It's got a little hint at the end what possibly might happen, foreshadowing for now, because I do hope that the show gets a second season, so I don't really want them to be like, oh, back in Japan already at the end. I feel like there's a lot going on and I don't want them to wrap it up in just one arc. There's a nice bit of storytelling, a lot of nice flips going on as well, on the beach then flipping to the museums. In general, it's a very nice ED. It is a little bit on the roll credit side of things. Easier to place for me this time around. I think with Undead Girl Murder Fast, OP is the better song, even if it is just me hearing tripping balls all the time. In second place, we are going to go for Song 100, Happiness of the Dead, and you can see that continuation of the name titles. I do think they've probably created the songs for the show. It's upbeat, but very similar to Undead Girl Murder Fast, it's reversed. We're now in her position. We're now looking at a different MC as she is telling the story. She's the one who is in the corner and you've got the zombies' shadows marching over her. It's a continuation of the OP. If you want to know how to write a good OP, ED, and you want my attention, often enough, if you continue points from the OP in the ED and you've actually got a connection there, those are big points. The main MC sings the first one, she sings the second one. It's a bit more of an upbeat song. The song shifts once again halfway through. They are both songs with two sides. They both do their flips, which I think is very, very nice. All four of the characters at the end, you've got some very nice moments where they're just chilling out, closing the show down in a sense. There are some very nice watercolory effects going on, conveys the theme quite nice. The movement of the ED is matched up to the stuff that's happening on screen, which you've made an effort to make that really become one unit. It flows nicely, and honestly, I think it does a very good job of conveying the whole show. With Song 100, I think the first song again is my favourite. It was just a very strong season when it comes to OPs. And of course, you guys know what's in first place because I've basically kept the same order for both OP and ED. It's Jujutsu Kaisen again, it's Akari, which actually translates into lights, I believe. A very nice ED. I think this might be stronger, a little bit stronger than the open, but I think the open is still the better song. Considering what we've just watched is generally quite sad. The animation, the flow, top tier, can't really say much more about it because it's done by a very top tier studio. It's got so much foreshadowing in it. There's so much subtext going on it again. It's a ED created completely from scratch, which is why it's in the top position. It's a lot calmer, and I think it bookends the show quite nicely. I love the vocals. The vocals are so airy. It's very rare that I get to speak music to you guys. There's some very nice airy falsetto with this voice, which I think carries the pain a little bit. When the voice isn't perfect and squeaky clean and it sounds like it's real and it's carrying a bit of pain, that's what this arc was. This arc has just been pain for me. That song I've been unable to really skip because it's so beautiful. Yin and Yang effect again with Geto and Gojo. The visuals are divided. There's always a divide, which is exactly what the show is showing us. There's a divide between the two. There's a very big hidden message right here. You kind of get this hope, this hopeful feeling with the vocals and everything, but it also conveys quite a lot of sadness. By the end of the next arc, I'm probably going to be hating the show completely because I've got a certain character. People have spoiled it. Jujutsu Kaisen is one of my favourite animes. I have been spoiled to high heaven. I think Jujutsu Kaisen fans I want to like them, but they have really ruined the show's impact for me. It's just been spoiled too much, and I pretty much know everything that's going to happen with Jujutsu Kaisen. The visuals, the water, again, we get a lot of water visuals this season. The rain, there's always rain and water with Jujutsu Kaisen because it conveys a deeper meaning. In the first one, you've got Yuji on the train and you've got the water at his feet and then it flips, and this one is kind of the reverse of that, but you've got the water, the rain, Gojo with his umbrella. Just a fantastic ED. I could be here again all day with these. Some really good OPs and EDs do deserve their entire own videos, but I don't know how I'd do it on the channel and if they would be interesting or not. That is the OPs, EDs. Let's now go into the list themselves. What are my current standing anime halfway through the season? Honorable mentions, I've got two. These two shows I really need to bring some attention to, but they just didn't fit quite onto the ranking themselves. First honorable slot we have My Happy Marriage. I've just watched episode 6, guys. It was very difficult. I actually had to scoot across a little bit because it got heavy a bit too much. But I think it's the episode that has united the entire fandom of us hating a certain character so much that we all felt relief during episode 6. It got a bit much, but it's so good. I wouldn't recommend watching it after, say, Jujutsu Kaisen because it's too heavy for that. I can't watch 2 shows back to back. But there are some very nice frames, very nice animation, very nice storytelling going on. Colours, the visuals are fantastic. I feel like maybe if the heaviness kind of dipped off a little bit now, it might start creeping into the top list. At the same time, it does deserve a shout out. I knew it was going to be a very good show. At one point, it was in 3rd slot for me. I did have to do a wee bit of research just to see if it would be something that would do well on the channel. I concluded that I probably would struggle to talk about it with you guys because there's bits with the abuse which I can't talk about. How my depression and PTSD works. I just can't really get into that kind of stuff with you guys. So I have left it, watching it in my own time. It's such a good show. A show that deals with real topics, abuse, slavery. There's a lot of shows dealing with slavery this year. Next honourable slot, The Masterful Cat is depressed again today. I am in love. Amazing. It's everything I wanted it to be. It's not just your basic slice of life. Show that's actually got a lot of heart to it. The money has gone on glasses, so that's fine. But you do realise that this show actually carries a bit more weight, more realistic, it's more connective. It's got older characters, you'll have a connection better with this show. This show connects with the older audience. You've got people who go to work, manage everything, especially if you're essentially on your own. The cat aspect is absolutely hilarious. I'm so thankful that Cat doesn't talk to her because that would have ruined the show for me. He does have inner monologues, but he won't talk to her because he's still just a cat. He's just big. Yukichi is amazing. I want that cat. The show is hitting my emotions a lot more than I thought it would. You wouldn't expect a slice of life to look amazing, but it does look amazing. I honestly would recommend this show. It's a light-hearted one, so you could probably put it at the end of some of those animes that are bringing the pain. 3rd position. Oh no, it's happening again. Under Girl Murder Farce has to go to 3rd position for me. I am enjoying this show more than I thought I would. I am also happy that they haven't dropped the ball yet. I wasn't expecting too much from the show. I think I picked it up because it was different. I wanted to do a detective breakdown with you guys. You guys know me. I love doing detective stuff. I like having an anime that I can really mull over. The show hasn't actually stopped giving when it comes to the amount that they're putting in their episodes. As an audience and as a show that we are breaking down on the channel, you guys have really made it for me when we were all trying to work out who the murderer was. Most of us got it wrong. I think a few of us did pinpoint it initially. The majority of us got it wrong, and it felt so good that we didn't get it right because I didn't want it to be so obvious. I wanted it to be something that we really did mull over, giving me a proper mystery. I will be looking for the farce aspect because obviously it's in the title. It has got some fantastic characters, fantastic voice acting. The voice acting in this show, guys, is amazing. Suguru, he does proper Rakugo. It sounds like Rakugo. Obviously, he's probably not a proper Rakugo artist. Ayu's performance is so strong. Her voice actor has done such a great job on making her so entertaining, so interesting. There's so much depth to that character, and I love it when she gets sarcastic. The main duo has got so much chemistry. I know that Sherlock has just appeared with Watson, but I am still more interested in the main duo's chemistry that's going on. It does have that added bonus. I've got these memories with you guys, which is making this show mean even more to me. It looks great, animated great. I think they've done a lot with the fights, even though the fights are small. When they occur, they are really visually stunning. I love them. I love the marble one that's just appeared. We've just had episode 6, had the marble fight with Arsene Lupin. That was nice. It was a really quick fight, but it was nice just to watch. It was nicely linked, nicely flowed, nicely put together. The music at times, it's not overpowering, but it's nice when they use it. There is still this sense of mystery going on. I think there's actually 2 mysteries going on. It deserves its place in 3rd. Really happy that it's on my list. 2nd position. I'm sorry guys, it's basically this copy and paste this bit. It's on 100. I love this show. If it wasn't airing against the big boy, it would be number 1 for me. And I think it is mainly everybody else's number 1s. It would be my anime original, if that makes sense. The anime original of this season, because this is such a good show. Wasn't expecting a zombie anime to be rocketing up on my list. It looks fantastic. It's colourful. It's so nicely edited. I think what all 3 of these have in common, they all look good. Every single show has had time poured into it. They all are animated better. Maybe that's just a point that anime is now just getting better and better, where every show looks good. It's starting to get very difficult to pick. The acting is good. The message is good. The storyboarding is good. Even if you're not into zombies, there's a bit more of a heart going on here. Maybe you can relate. You have a job that you just hate. You're being exploited for. You're basically being run into the mill. You feel like a zombie at your everyday job. Right now, with how my job's going, couldn't connect even more with the show because I'm having a really rough time at work. I think anybody who picks it up could have a relatability to it. You are going to be sat there going, actually, you know, I have had a job in the past that has made me feel like this. Or maybe you got out. Maybe you're the same as me. Maybe you're still stuck. Him now having this flip halfway through where the apocalypse happens, you know, the world's ending, there's zombies everywhere. He's never felt more alive. You're dealing with struggles of him trying to get food. There's dog zombies that are actually included in the anime now, and that's even more scary. He reunites with an old friend because he's still a survivor. There's even heartwarming moments with those two, just reconnecting, and how you go into work and you just forget the friends that you've made, or you have no time anymore. You maybe had a bucket list of things that you really wanted to do as a kid and you just can't do them anymore because real life is getting in the way. There's some really nice real subplot going on here, and honestly, such a good show. I've had such a good time with breaking it down as well with you guys. Sadly, we had episode 6 delayed. It'll be coming back on Sunday, so I can't wait to break that down with you guys. I'm going to have a rough time when it comes to the end of season. I can feel it. You figured out that it's a copy and paste of all 3 of these sections. Jujutsu Kaisen in first place just because I've cried. I cried, man. Generally, if an anime can make me cry, it generally means that it's doing a fantastic job. Sure, I will say I almost cried at Happy Marriage. That's different. I love Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm a huge Jujutsu Kaisen fan. I also have been spoiled a lot, so I already kind of know what's going to happen. It still had such a big impact for me. Do I think the show could be falling at the end? Perhaps. If I told you Nanami was my favourite character, you guys already know, you know. I didn't like Geto. When we first met him, wasn't really keen on him. I watched the movie, really wasn't keen on him. I watched this, and it gives you the backstory to everybody. Found myself really warming to him. I did feel the struggle and the pain of watching him sliding mentally. Please don't do it. I actually like you. I really like you as a character, but you can also see where his dilemma starts to appear. It does feel like at times that Gojo is the douchebag and Geto's actually being the one who's reasonable, and then they switch. Dynamic in a sense. I like the complex writing of this because it's sometimes not cut and dry. I think with the way that the characters are portrayed, they're different enough to be believable. It's what I was like when I was younger. Now I've changed into this kind of character. Beautifully animated, gorgeous, it looks great. The comedy moments they hit, they're nice. There's a lot of very nice interaction going on. I think between this and Zombie 100, there's not much in it. Possibility that we're going to have it overthrow Jujutsu. The end of season is going to be an interesting one. It depends how much I like being hurt. Jujutsu Kaisen season 2 is absolutely amazing. I enjoy it better than the last season we had for Demon Slayer. I thought that one was a bit okay. It wasn't my favourite arc or anything. You understand the characters that you're dealing with better. It's been a show where they've told the story out of order, where you've had the main show with Yuji. The movie came out, which was Zero, which has a different character completely in it. That gave you some backstories. Prequel-ish. Now that you've got this new one, that is prequel completely. Telling a story backwards, but it still really does have weight, which I think is complex writing to the max. These are my top 3. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hopefully you guys aren't too mad at me. But bear in mind, it's just my opinions halfway through the anime season. Not quite there yet. I am going to be bringing you guys a breakdown of the full season. I have started looking. I've already got my 3 breakdowns. Can't wait to break those shows down with you guys. There will also be the anime awards, the end of season wrap up together in the same videos. 2 more big videos going your way. Can't wait to bring them to you. And the season's been great. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. It's really been needed. The channel itself is lagging a little bit, but we always seem to lag around summer. Less views going on. We've got no subs being added at the moment. I've actually had some fantastic conversations with you and I've really enjoyed it. Thank you guys for your continued support. I hope that we can grow in the future, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye guys.